Hi everyone, and welcome back to another pub chat. This is BD Riley's pub in Austin, Texas. We're the Liverpool Connection podcast. I'm Dazza, it's got Julian, got Glenn with me, and seeing it as it's the Liverpool Man City preview from the Austin Man City group. We've got RJ, so welcome RJ to our little abode. Let's get right into it then. Massive match of many. That top four for us, if we can sneak in the back door, which there's a crack there for us, but we've got three massive matches coming up. But let's talk about this match on Saturday.
I know where to start with this. With this season so far, it's been ridiculous, really, with what we've seen. You know, we can beat Manchester United 7-0, we can beat Bournemouth 9-0, and we can lose to Brighton. We can put in terrible performances at Brentford against a very good Brentford side. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we go to Man City and we win, even with how poor we have been, because that's how crazy the season has been. On form, we should lose this, but I would not put it past us to put in a really good performance and to win this game. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Glenn.
I've got to say before we get there, this last week or so has been fantastic, hasn't it?
Yeah, no,
I wish we had about another 3 weeks, to be honest. The fact that we've got another game, the fact that we've got the City game coming up is a bit like, oh, crying out loud. I'm not confident at all. They need to win. We're recording this on Wednesday night. No idea what's going to come back. No doubt we'll probably get 6 players injured the way the season's gone.
Cheer up. Come on.
I'm not feeling confident.
Well, Syndicat was injured, wasn't he?
Oh, well, thank Christ. No, I'm not a fan of him, but anyway, what about yourself, mate? What are you thinking from a City point of view?
Oh, I'm also nervous. I'm nervous every time we play Liverpool. Every time. You show up every match against us, pretty much the last 4 or 5 years. So I would take form out the window on one level. It's good that we're at home and we've only been dealt one blow from the international break. And Kevin De Bruyne had really, really good performances with Belgium, something he hasn't done in like almost 2 years. So that's a good sign. But I always feel so nervous before this, like hand shaking. Usually have to drink one beer, even if it's at 6:30 in the morning, before I have coffee, because I get really, really jittery. Because I feel, just like the first match this season, Klopp is going to come out with this high energy press that if City don't know how to deal with it, the game could have a personality in like the first 10 minutes that nobody was expecting.
I will say on that, if it was, going back to what I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we won. I wouldn't say I'm highly confident. If it was at Anfield, I would be a lot more confident. I think our record at Man City over the last, I looked it up to confirm it earlier, we've won once in 13 years in the league at Man City. We've won 4 times in, I want to say, 30 years, essentially since the Premier League began. We have a horrible record at Man City, which again, with our completely weird, strange, bizarre season, I still wouldn't be surprised if we won this and beat Arsenal
and lose to Leeds
and
Forest.
Basically, yeah.
See, like what you were saying there about the game of like Liverpool City for the last 4 years has basically been Real Madrid, Barcelona around late 2000s. Do you know, like both teams, it was unbelievable. Like for about 3 or 4 years, it was the best. It was the best game in the world by a country mile, and there wasn't nothing close to it, especially in England. But because our like what you were saying, because our season's just been so mad, like I don't know.
Even the draws that we've drawn against you have been a really good match. You know, my concern is just this is huge for you lot for the title, because if Liverpool beat you, I think that's it. Yeah. I do. There's too much distance. Arsenal still have to play us. I think they still have to play Uslar and another top 16 away. So that's still tough for them. But there's just huge amount of consequences on this match.
It's a top
4 for us.
Must-win game for both teams.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Man City have to win this. We have to win this. So I expect it's going to be a pretty attacking game.
Yeah.
I can't see both teams being defensive at all on this.
The pressure though, City don't have to win the title. That's the interesting thing this season. All the pundits talk about, is the Champions League more important? I don't think so. I think Pep wants to win everything. But will that lack of pressure, like in previous years, the pressure's been there, like to win the title, to set a marker down for the dominance, doesn't have to happen this year. Will not having that pressure actually be a good thing for City? I don't know. I liked having that pressure, not like for my health, but I felt like it brought the best out of the players. I always went into this the last 5 years. We'll get into predictions later, but I always was like, it's going to be a 2-2 draw. It's always just going to be a 2-2 draw. I have no idea how it happens. I have no idea who scores first, but it's going to be a 2-2 draw. So, looking at the macro of what this means for both clubs, I actually think it means more for Liverpool to stay in that top 4 hunt that is so wide open right now.
I don't think so. If you don't win, you don't win the league, and then if you don't win the Champions League, you know more from the City point of view. But if you don't win the league, and then you don't win the Champions League, with the idea of signing Haaland is to try and get over the line in the Champions League. So if you don't, and this season City win an FA Cup, our season's been a total disaster. There's no doubt about it. But would you say that? At the start of the season, that'd be a failure for City, wouldn't it? Not winning the league or the Champions League. And
yeah, I always like winning. I don't think if you win a trophy, it's a bad season. I know that's not the mindset of the club. Looking at it from the mindset of the club, yeah, it's going to be disappointing. I don't think it's a failure. I think it's a disappointment. I think if this happens again next season, then failure talk comes into play.
So 1 second, boys. See, the thing is, right, I disagree with that. No, I do disagree with it because, if Liverpool won, if it was the other way around, and Man City won the league on 96 points, and you won, and we got 94 points, for example, and we ran you close. But to think that Liverpool have totally fell off a cliff, and Arsenal are the ones that are going to potentially win the league. It's like, if Arsenal win the league, it's absolutely horrific. I think it's horrific for both Liverpool and City. What do you think?
Okay, so I get your point as well. So I'm sure if you offered Pep Guardiola today and he had to make a choice, he's going to take the Champions League, right? Obviously he wants both, no doubt, of course he does. But if he had to make a decision on which one he really wants to win, it is the Champions League. And I think the Haaland signing kind of goes towards that for winning the Champions League. I think the way they're set up as well has changed a little bit, where they've struggled. It's weird to say struggled because they're second in the league, but they certainly haven't been at the level they were previously, and that's fitting a new formation, a new striker in. Of course he wants to win the league, but he fucking definitely wants to win that Champions League. I mean, he hasn't won it since Barcelona, I believe, after spending $1 billion plus, which is ridiculous, which is insane. But it's a massive game because it's Man City want to keep on Arsenal's heels. They want to challenge Arsenal, but also there's a form thing. Man City have to get into this form of winning consistently. They haven't really done that this season. They've gone on like little runs, but then they've stumbled throughout. So
yeah, but the second half of the season, you can see the engine starting to purr for City. You're starting to play how you played last season. I mean,
I haven't seen that yet, though. Really,
what about you, Sam?
In the last couple of games, I've seen it.
I heard this 2 months ago, and it didn't actually happen. So, I'm not there yet. You can see how it could, if Liverpool is now this confirmation of that, I would believe it. We all thought it was going to happen after we beat Arsenal, drew with Forest.
Yep.
So it's just, there's these little blips that we have to not have in order to have this sustained run of form. And I think, to your point, Pep wants that for the Champions League, because the Champions League is all about these moments, these blips.
So what do you think from watching City this season? What's been the, obviously with the Haaland situation, but there's been a few changes, defence, midfield. What do you think has added to the blips that we've seen in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think Pep hit it right on the nail with complacency, and he said it immediately in a press conference, and it was like a do or die thing for the season. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Are the players going to respond? And they responded. Complacency's out. João Cancelo gone. Everybody thought that was a shocking move. Now it looks like the right call. That's one. Two, yes, fitting into new formation with Haaland up front. They're still scoring the same amount of goals. So I think the issue is, and it always comes back to this player, Kevin De Bruyne is not at the level that he's been at the last few years consistently this season. He's top in assists in the league, so that seems very, very insane to say, but he has not been consistently creating the chances or creating the pass to make the chance that he has in previous seasons. When that has happened in the past, there have been players like Sterling and Jesus, who are both gone, that would create a little bit of direct unpredictability we don't have outside of Phil Foden. So it's that mix of this control that De Bruyne brings and that directness that we don't quite have.
So I said this at the start of the season, and it was more in hope that we might, with Sterling going and Jesus going and Zinchenko going, I was like, that's massive for City. That to let three like that go, that's so important in one window. I thought it was a big risk, because your wide players, Sterling, Jesus, or even when you had Sané, just scared the life out of me. Grealish and Mahrez are brilliant. Don't get me wrong, and they'll probably fucking go and make me look like a fool now on the weekend. But they don't worry me as much as those players that running in behind. And there's no doubt about it. You have missed those players. I mean, Sterling's not really done much for Chelsea. I know he's been injured, and Jesus too. But there's no doubt about it. I think they have.
He was a bit underrated for City as well, wasn't he?
Sterling's underrated as a player. I mean, the amount of goals he scored, it's incredible.
And selling two of your players to Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again, is it?
No. I understood why they did it. Pep said, if you're unhappy and a deal comes that makes sense, we're going to do it. And he's always stuck to that. Jesus, I understand. Haaland's coming in. He's going to be deeply unhappy. We want to bring Alvarez in too. That's not fair to Jesus. And Jesus, the thing about Sterling and Jesus that is so underrated, and I'm sure all three of you appreciate this, their pressing was top. When our press, those two, Phil Foden, Bernardo, all on the pitch, our press was unpenetrable sometimes. We don't have that at the moment. Jack Grealish and Riyad Mahrez, their work rate is getting better, and they try really hard, but it's not the same at all.
And you lose a lot of goals. I mean, Grealish doesn't get the goals. He doesn't get the numbers. And if you compare, again, Man City of seasons past, a lot of their goals are split, especially around the midfield as well. You'd see that was one of the biggest differences between Manchester City and Liverpool, was the midfielders for Manchester City, and much better goal scoring record, right? Now with City, it's dropped a lot. You're seeing everything's Haaland. He's like the focal point, right? And it's working because it's getting the goals, but it's definitely is hurting the team as a whole. So, otherwise, with the amount of quality players they have and the amount of money that's been spent, a City that are playing to the best of their capabilities should be ahead of Arsenal, right? On paper, they're a better side, but that change, and that could even come down to Kevin De Bruyne as well. I mean, he's got to change his style, the way he has played previously. Instead of working with Jesus, Aguero, etc., different kind of strikers, now it's Haaland that requires a different kind of final ball. Mm-hmm. So I'm not surprised at all that it's taking a little bit of time for them to get used to this. And still saying all of this, they're second in the league and they're doing really well in the Champions League. But it's because of the high standards that City have set, especially in the league, and It's been a significant drop-off this season. Not as bad as ours, but still significant. So,
I do think one player within all this that City contingent seems to respect in a way that I think he should be respected. Incredibly underrated. I think he's the most underrated world-class player in the Premier League is Okay Gundogan.
quality. Yeah.
And he has been able to help with that as much as he can whenever. That's why he's getting starts over Bernardo now, because that's what the team needs. Because his runs into the box, they're just unpredictable. And it makes everything open up. And to your point, goals aren't coming from midfield. I don't think that's too much of a problem. The issue with that is players don't seem as involved when they're not getting goals. I think it took about half this season for those midfield players to feel involved without getting goals. That's why Jack Grealish, like third name on the team sheet.
He's
right
been
now.
one of your best players.
Yes, he's been great. And I've always been one of his defenders. Thank God he came good, because I put a lot of stock in him. I just think he's a very, very, the same way Sterling was. Sterling may not have done much in terms of stats, but three players are always marking him, and if he makes the right ball, just swing it and then everything opens up. And Grealish's ability to understand when to do that and then when to go has been much better this season.
So I was just going to say to you, can you see a big summer? I know it's obviously, I don't know if it's going to have an effect with the stuff that's going on with the financial fair play stuff. Just can't be asked getting into it, but can you see?
My publicist said that was off the table.
Can you see a big summer for City? Because it feels like there's
they haven't had a big summer in a while, like a real big summer. Of course, Bellingham has been talked about for both of our clubs.
It just feels like you're a little bit short in it feels like you've been short at centre, fullback.
It's been short for 2 years. The squad's actually, the first team squad has been small for 2 years.
Yeah, this is the thing, everyone seems to think the City squad's really big, but it is a really, you're always seeing it's a good player is it Palmer,
Rico Lewis.
You always see these younger lads coming on, and they're good players, but they do have a really small squad, to be fair.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips. Did anybody remember Calvin Phillips signed for City?
No.
So even with players like that who are in the first team squad, they're not getting minutes for reasons I don't know for sure.
He's been injured, hasn't he?
He's been injured for a little bit, but he's
still
also
got on the England side though, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what though? And this is something we need to be better at. Is it wouldn't surprise me if Calvin Phillips starts next year and starts 30 games in the Premier League for City. It's the same with Grealish. Last year we sort of to play for Guardiola and Klopp in general. It's so if you look at our players, you'll come back into it always takes them a few months to really get into it, doesn't it? I think it's the same with City. You can see that now with even players like Nathan, like Ake. I'm saying
he's great.
That's what I mean. When he first came in, he was a bit ropey, and then you've got when we would play against him, we'd be like, but now he's decent. Grealish is a great example of wasn't that great last year, but then has moved on. But then because you've got players in front, what I'm trying to say is because you've got a player in front of them, we need to have from a Liverpool point of view, we need to have Mo Salah is 31, I think, soon. He's going to be 30. Ideally, we need to have someone who's going to be coming in and take a Mo Salah spot. Not saying, right, sounds, Mo Salah's off, we've got to bring this someone in. Real Madrid do it really well as well, where they get the next one in, but they get them in a year or two before, and then they learn from them, and then they bring them on.
You circled back to your original point, right, about depth and thinking towards the future about and getting prepared. Man City did a perfect example of that with Foden, right? Yeah. Foden, people were screaming Foden should be starting every single week, but Pep Guardiola kept him back. He kept him back, and they brought him in time to time, and in a way we should be doing that with Harvey Elliott. Instead, Harvey Elliott has played every single game this season. For a kid his age is kind of ridiculous, really. Elliott should be phased in, but he's not. He's having to play
because of injuries,
because of a lack of options, which unfortunately it's hard as well, because then if Harvey Elliott has a bad game, then you see all the Muppets Elliott, which isn't fair on the player as well. And Badgertech as well. Injury is bound to happen. in that position that Bajcetic plays, that's the toughest positions on the pitch. I mean, the amount he played from never playing in the first team, we were like playing with fire with that, and then there you go, he gets a serious injury. We haven't, and we have gaps to back up Salah, which you would hope should be Elliott, but Elliott's had to play in midfield. We have gaps for right back for Trent. It was meant to be Calvin Ramsey, but he's been injured. We have your favourite fella from Greece, a left back, so Robertson.
But City do as well.
We don't have great options, and that's because we didn't fully invest.
But City do
when
as
we
well.
won the league.
That's what we're saying. Like, and that's where I think, going back to what you were saying about the squad before, it's not that big, and like you wonder whether they will bring in more players. But should we move on to coach? Should we move on coaches to the game and teams and all that shit? I don't want to, like. What do you reckon, Darren?
Yeah, Liverpool team. What do you think?
Throw some darts at the board and see whose name comes
I
up.
think it's pretty nailed on, isn't
Yeah,
it? Unless there's injuries over the next few days. Really.
It's difficult with the internationals, isn't it? Because you just don't know who's playing where and playing in the arse and nowhere and all that.
Midfields, you would think it's Hendo, Fabinho,
That's
and
the
Harvey.
question.
And Harvey.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Milner. I don't think Milner starts. Not this one.
Not at City. I wouldn't.
Hendo's
have
had, some time off. Fabinho's had time off. Front three picks itself. Back four.
Does it though?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, who is your front three?
Yeah, it doesn't pick itself.
There is a question.
It doesn't pick itself then,
There
does
is a
it?
question.
If you just ask them who's your
Nunez,
front three, it doesn't
Mo.
pick itself.
Well, hold on. Let's just find out. Let's check.
Gakpo, Nunez, and Mo. Front three.
What about Bobby?
Nah.
No.
So
That would be
Bench.
my question. Would be Firmino, Gakpo in the middle, and Jota. There is a few options there. I'm hoping he starts Firmino in this game.
I think he's not. I don't think he's. I think he's going for the. I think he's going to go the 4.
You think he's going with?
The 4.
With Jota.
I think he's going to go 4. I think he's going to go 4-2-3-1. I do.
I agree. No, I think basically what he did the first match was 4-2-4, and it scared me half to death.
We played well in that game.
Yeah.
The 1-0.
Yeah, but that one at home. That one
at
at home.
Anfield.
That wasn't really. That was more. That was way more cagey. We were a lot more deeper. But a couple of years ago, when we played against City, it was the COVID year actually, and we did do the 4. We went sort of 4-2-4 then, and that was 4-2-4. And I think because he's got all the forwards, I think we will do that.
Okay. All right. Let's hold you on this. All right. So who's the 2?
What do you mean?
So you say 4-2-4. What's your?
Oh, who will play as the 2 midfielders?
Yeah.
Two
Let's start there.
midfielders.
We know the centre back's defence, but the 2 midfielders.
Hendo and Fab.
He's got no options. There's literally no one else. There's no one else you can play them other than Henderson and Fabinho. If they're both okay, it's going to have to be them.
Who's the 4 then?
The 4 for me is I was going to say Diaz for a second then. It'd be good to hopefully get Hayes on the bench.
He might be on the bench,
I'd go Nunes. I'd go Nunes through the middle. I would if we're going to play 4-2-4. I'd play Nunes through the middle. I'd play Firmino deeper. I think we need the Firmino's intelligence. Did Firmino go away with Brazil?
No.
Thank Christ. He can play deeper. Salah on the right, obviously, and then on the left, I'd go Jota just for his work rate. I think.
No Gakpo then. For you.
I mean, Gakpo and Firmino would be flip of a coin. But that's what I'd do.
I think he'll stick with I think he'll do a 4-3-3. I'd be surprised for this game if he changed it. I think he'll do the midfield: Henderson, Fabinho, Elliott up front, Salah right, Nunez left, Firmino or Gakpo in the middle. I think he'll play it fairly safe and he'll do that.
Man City.
And don't lie to us. We all know Haaland's starting. We know Foden's out 100%.
Yeah, I think
Phil Foden.
saying that Haaland's healthy. Yeah, so I'll start from the back. Ederson in goal.
Hey.
Brazil's number 2.
Is right.
So this is interesting. I wonder if the back 4 isn't nailed on. So for sure Diaz, and I think he's going to do Ake at left back. The other center back, I think for this match, will be Akanji. Right back, Kyle Walker. John Stones gets left out.
Ooh, Nunez against Walker, that'll be fun.
I think Walker's pace is needed to save some, but usually it's been John Stones over there. But yeah, I think Walker, Rodri, De Bruyne. I really want to say Gundogan in the middle, but Bernardo just gives performances against Liverpool.
Yeah, he does. He's a fucking little prick.
So I'm still going to go with Gundogan. Gundogan will be who it is. But if Bernardo could slip in there, but I think it's going to be Gundogan because Gundogan's been so great this year, so reliable, and Bernardo can come on and make a difference. Front three, Haaland, and I think he's just going to go manage, control, is what we call it. Grealish, Mahrez, that's your control wingers.
From an attacking point of view, I don't really know what else you can do, really, is there?
You can put Alvarez in there.
Alvarez, maybe play from the sides.
Yeah, you can put Alvarez, or you could put Bernardo on the wing as well.
I suppose so.
So there is a formation that would be Grealish left wing, Bernardo right wing. Inverted wingers.
Are you going to win? Predictions? Score predictions?
We say 2-2, but I
Go with that.
You can say you want to win.
No, I'm trying to think of what the actual score is going to be. 2-1. It's not going to be more than a goal difference. 2-1 to City. It's going to be really, really, really stressful.
I think the colour of this hair is from Manchester City in the last 4 years.
You know what? I've got to mention this.
I say this every pod.
We haven't done a pod in like 2 weeks because of the international break. Your hair's changed again a little bit. Yeah.
Right, so I've had footy today. It's windy. It's fucking all over the place.
Little blondes back.
I think the blonde's back.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Over
it is.
the summer.
Do you know what? It's because Liverpool haven't been on. Not stressing me out.
Yeah.
It's been sound.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Anyway, I'll do my prediction. I'll do my prediction. Yeah. I didn't speak. Put my teeth back in. I reckon Liverpool will get beat 1-0.
You bastard.
I've never done that, but I mean, I think we'll get beat. You just said we've not won a game there since
We haven't, but this season is
since
so
they landed on the moon.
You haven't let in a league goal. You let in one league goal in 6 matches.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like that, mate.
Yeah.
All right, guys. What do you think?
Well, you know me, no prediction.
It's ridiculous.
Go on.
No, I don't do score lines.
So who do you think Liverpool will win?
Who's gonna win?
No, I don't. Like
So we'll get beat.
watching the Liverpool that I've watched over the course of the season, the Man United match seems like it was a dream. City at home will be too much for us.
So we'll get beat.
Yeah, and these early kickoffs were absolute dire at him.
Yeah.
It's a way, and I just feel City will want it more.
Yeah. Getting up at 6:30 in the morning, get beat 5-0.
All right, you miserable bastards. So, because it's
Not
because
No, not Madrid will say Liverpool going to win 7-0 just
it's
to
been
be
a
Mr.
ridiculous season. We hate early kickoffs. Our record of Man City is horrendous. We'll probably win. Man
Go on,
City 2,
score.
Liverpool 4. Thank you.
4-2.
Silver
That's a
lining.
definite possibility. That scoreline.
To be
Thank you
fair,
very much.
no,
Even Man City
no.
says
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's
He's
not.
just being nice because he's on
No,
our pod.
I'm not saying it's not. Like it's not the most craziest of things because of the way Liverpool are. But I just think I can't see us winning.
What it is, I can see us getting beat by City, but I can see us beating Chelsea and Arsenal.
Well, I was going to ask you that actually before we ask
And
about the
I
league.
can see us
So
beating
one
Man
second.
City, beating Chelsea, beating Arsenal, and then losing.
Right.
Nah.
Hang on a minute then. Just slow down for a
That's
sec.
the way
Right.
we've been.
In the next, so the next 3 games for us, we've got City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Well, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal actually in the right order. What would you accept points wise, and what do you think we'll get?
5 points.
You think we'll get, or you would accept? You'd be happy with, basically.
I'd be happy with 6, but
I'd be happy with 9.
I'd be really happy with 9.
I'd be happy with a date with Beyonce, but
but you know, this is, you got to be realistic.
right.
I think 5 is more realistic. To be honest.
I would be happy with 5. I think we'll get 4.
I would be.
Who's your 4? Who's your points?
I think we'll beat Arsenal and I think we'll get a draw at Chelsea. We'll get beat by City.
I think we'll beat City. I think we would draw with Arsenal.
At home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on,
I think
hurry
that
up
could
then.
be the one that the one that.
Pendulum.
It's a weird season. Normally we fucking
Pendulum.
smash Arsenal at home. This season we'll draw with them, and then Chelsea will beat them. Excuse me, 7 points.
Okay. And just
7.
moving on to City. Are you gonna just to win? Are you gonna win the league?
Take a deep breath.
I feel weird feeling confident, but this club has instilled that confidence in me that I still feel.
Don't worry about it. You cunts have done it. Sorry, it's a bad
no,
word.
but
you have done this to us for
Every
the last
party.
5 years.
not
That's
this.
that's
Now-
YouTube like
Nah,
ringing
it's
us
all-
up.
It's the start of the episode. Go on.
I do think. Yes, I do. If we stay healthy, yes.
All right, so right now it's what? Arsenal
it's
are
8 points.
8 points.
We have a game in hand.
We have a game in hand,
And
right?
we have a head-to-head at
Yeah.
home.
Here's one for you two. You both want City. You both want Arsenal to win the league, don't you?
Yes. If over Liverpool, yes. If I just looking at the league table now, let's make this clear. Of course, I want Liverpool to win the league. We won't.
Yeah, well,
I would rather Arsenal win the league over Man City and Man United
Right.
and Newcastle.
But Arsenal. Well, there's only 2 people that are going to win the league, aren't there? No one else is going to win
Just
the
giving
league.
you the option.
Thanks.
I would
Okay, it's
rather
like saying,
Arsenal.
well, I don't want Gillingham to win the league. Well, okay.
Newcastle's not an option.
Anyway,
no, no.
just
United's
go.
not
What
an
about you?
option.
What about you? Are you still thinking?
I've got.
hands
Well, all right.
I'm
It's
with you.
time. It's time for some other team to win the league.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Arsenal drive me nuts.
What respect?
One of our good mates is a few good mates, Arsenal supporter. I mean, I predicted.
Spit it out, then.
We predicted City, didn't we, at the start of the season to win the league. I still think City could win the league. I think it might go down to the last game of the season.
Who do you want to win the league is the question.
Liverpool. That's it.
I'm probably going to be the odd one out here. I don't want City to win the league, but I will be absolutely fuming if Arsenal win the league.
Fuming.
Yeah, I will. And I've got
Why
no.
would you be fuming?
I've got no. I'll tell you. I've got no real thing about Arsenal. Like I've got no like real dislike or care for like anything
because of the
bad.
dip?
It's more the fact that Liverpool have not won. Man City haven't won the league, and for the last 4 or 5 years, we've just gone so back and forth and so back and forth. And to think that this little scruffy little team that were 5th last year, with these a few little decent little players,
Why would that piss you off? That's our own fault.
it's infuriating.
There's nothing. You
It's
can't
infuriating.
fume about it. It's our own
Yeah, and
fault.
I was fuming when Leicester won the league as well,
Yeah.
because it should have been Liverpool.
Been fuming
Pisses
too
me
much.
Well, I can't
Should have
help
been,
it.
actually should
If
have been
that-
Tottenham.
if that's what they've
Tottenham
been
should have
doing.
won the league that season. They messed it up.
No, but
Big
I'm
time.
saying like that really, it actually will really infuriate me if Arsenal win the league. I don't want City to win it, but seeing them win it will be like,
Even if Arsenal win, it's still with the City manager, so that works out well.
and City
no,
players,
yes,
City
All
players.
are-
So
no.
basically, it's
That's a
Man
shocker.
City beating.
I totally understand that point of view, though. Like this is actually a 2 protagonist story. Nobody can come in to this story.
Yeah, it's the best 2 teams that's ever played in the Premier
I just
League.
have to give credit to Arteta. I think he's done a
Oh,
magnificent
God.
job
You-
with Arsenal. He really,
Yeah.
with the mess that
Always
club
banging on
was
about
in.
him. You're always banging on about him.
Because
You
we're talking about it
You
at
get
the
a
moment,
tattoo on his
right?
arse off him.
We're talking about it, and I think
Honestly, he
if
loves
they
Arteta.
win the league, they fully deserve it. I think he's done a
I know
brilliant
they do.
job
I'm
there.
not saying
Who-
that.
The thing
And
about the
I would
Premier-
much rather they would. Well, it's not a matter of rather. I would prefer them to win it than Man City. I would prefer Man City to win nothing after spending all this money, and Haaland will probably end up with a fucking 100 goals. And if Man City win nothing this season, that will be rather hilarious. So, that's
It
where I
would
stand
be a
with it.
very City thing to do. It'd be typical City.
It would.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a very typical City thing. Winning the league every fucking year with about 90.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's fuming.
No, because it has.
I want to be clear. That is not a City thing. That is a Guardiola thing.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's very true.
And I have to like distance myself and what I've known City to be like, oh, that's why this is different. It's because of one person.
Do you think you can win the Champions League?
We can, yeah. The Champions League can always be won. That trophy is so great because it's so
Except by Guardiola, based on the last
No, I
15
just
years.
No.
Can we stop speaking about teams winning all these trophies? Can we?
Let's wrap it up.
Oh, the Reds going to finish 12th or 7th?
Yeah. You know what? I watched a new episode of Ted Lasso last night.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Lasso.
And they were
Lasso.
showing.
What is
they were
Is
showing
it just Lasso?
Richmond FC going up the league. It was like 9 games in.
Don't you?
Liverpool,
I'm not seeing it. So
well, Liverpool weren't in the top 4 even on that show. So unfortunately.
right, Darren.
Anyway,
Well,
Wrap it. No. Oh.
do we want to?
hold on. I can't believe Glenn.
About what's going on with City because
What do you mean?
maybe what 100 and what breaches?
Oh.
It's 112 breaches.
Do you think it's like a witch hunt?
I
Christ.
have two thoughts. One, I think there's too many smart people at City to have done to have this egregious. Basically, what they've been charged with is not just the breaches. It's been an overwhelming lack of transparency and dishonesty, which that's an amazing thing to charge an organization with, to prove, but also just to charge them with. I think there's too many smart people at City to have done that. Honestly, did they bend the rules?
You're chatting shite, mate. You know it.
No, it's
How can you have that many? How can you have that many charges? How can you have that many charges against you?
well, it's funny that it's not going to be part of the Premier League anymore, as the government has taken over immediately after this. So the timing of all of it seems somewhat
convenient.
ludicrous. Now that's a conspiracy theory thing, and I'm not into that. What I will
You
say
love
is,
conspiracy City fans, don't you?
I would love to be in League Two. I would love to go travel.
The thing is about that, though, on that point, I'm sure Juventus have a lot of people that know what they're doing, and they still messed
Yeah,
up.
that's totally
That's
right?
true.
And that's, but I'm just
But
using
yeah, I
the
know
case
what you're-
of where
I know
they're
what
at.
you're
I'm sure there's definitely been illegal things that City have done, right? Liverpool did the same with the youth players. Like I said,
Yeah,
we did something that was bad with the youth
and
players
Chelsea
a few
did
years
too.
ago, but we got a ban for the youth side. But what I'm saying, my circle is about this is that my guess is it will go away for Man City because you're too
I
powerful.
think what they did is
Maybe a transfer ban at
they
most.
broke
but
the spirit
nothing
of
more
what the
than
law was maybe supposed to be. They didn't break anything. That's what I think.
As long as Everton go down.
Everton have done so much worse things than City has within their ownership.
I'm so gutted they picked Sean Dyche. It's going to keep him up, isn't it?
He probably will.
Like, come on.
We'll see. Anyway,
Full exoneration. That's what I'll say. Full exoneration. That's how it'll end.
well, we'll come back. We'll come back to you when that stuff
When I'm in
comes
League
out.
Two,
then.
and I'll show you the patches.
And we'll be waving. RJ, appreciate you coming on.
Me.
It is always a battle between us and City. I wish it was still a battle between us like this season, because we still are, I think, the two best teams in the Premier League. For the last 6 years. Yeah, it's just been
It's
amazing.
been a wonderful ride. I loved as a spectacle watching the two clubs play the last few years. Again, I loved watching the replays more, knowing the result. Because I've never ever felt that during a match, like pure stress. Because anything can happen. Because both sides were so good.
Well, I hope you'll be crying on Saturday after the match, and.
I hope you get like the biggest fine that's ever been. I hope you get relegated to non-league, and the Etihad Stadium gets knocked down, and it just crumbles away, and you have to pick a new team. That's all I hope. Small things.
Wow.
All right then.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Where do we go from there?
Oh, yeah, end it. Maybe.
Thanks everyone for tuning in and having a listen to us talk absolute. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to be like him.
Do the Man City
Um,
shite.
But anyways, please like and subscribe and put your notifications on. There's some huge news coming from us. We're dead excited. Lots of good things coming up. We're all very proud. We'll tell you on the.
Darren's getting into the adult industry.
We've signed a midfielder for the pod. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll probably do the announcement on the Arsenal preview show. So until next time, we'll see you.
Arrivederci.